Just today, operatives of the Department of State Services have arrested the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ajaero. Confirming the development in a post via its official X handle, the NLC described the arrest as an assault on the Nigerian worker. It reads, "The assault on Nigerian workers continues. President of the NLC, Ajaero, was arrested and abducted by men of the DSS at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, this morning on his way to attend an official engagement of TUC United Kingdom, and he is now detained at the office of the NSA. Now, earlier, the Nigerian police force had invited and interrogated Ajaero over allegations of terrorism financing, cybercrime, subversion, criminal conspiracy, and treasonable felony. To discuss this, I'm being joined by Emmanuel Onwubiko, is the National Coordinator, that's Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA. And also joining me is Dr Hauwa Mustapha. Thank you for your time, Dr. Hauwa.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
All right. What do you make of the arrest of the NLC president?
Really, for me, it's a very, very sad situation. Reminiscences of the military era. Yet we are in a democracy. I think it's a sad event. It portrays a very gloomy situation politically for the country. And I think anybody who really loves this country, anybody who really wishes progress for this country will condemn the act. It's not just wicked, it's insensitive, very, very insensitive. And honestly, it just doesn't make sense. One cannot just sit down and understand wherever this idea is coming from, who is pushing this idea, and for whatever gain, for whatever, issue, what it is that you are trying to make, or what point you are trying to make. In this current situation in this country, where nerves are up, financially everybody is being hit so hard. People are just struggling to manage, to wade through the unnecessary financial crisis that, the regime has put us into. And then you now have this, a lot of insecurity all over the place. Terrorists are having a field day in the bush. Bandits are having a field day. Kidnappers are having a field day. All kinds of atrocities, all kinds of real criminal activities are taking place brazenly all over the country. And then you have this. The workers are struggling. People are struggling to just find ways, to calm themselves and wade through the roughness, the political, economic, and social roughness that we have found ourselves in. And then what will the state do to worsen the situation, to make us feel that we just won't exist, to make it feel like we can just go to hell? It's still, for me, it's still so much of unimaginable, and I really can't understand it. It's not understanding, honestly.
All right.
There's absolutely no reason for this.
I mean, let's look at.
Any reason to that.
Let's take it back. Let's take it back slightly to look at some of the allegations, that of course was leveled by the police, and of course it was invited, on. Now there is the allegation of terrorism financing, cybercrime, subversion, criminal conspiracy, and treasonable felony. Some have even said that he is appearing to be pretty much political than neutral. I would like your reaction.
When I read those allegations, it's so not just only laughing, it's really lamented. It's like we are in a kind of jungle republic. It's like we are not, it's like we are not in a civilized country. It's like this is an era, this is the 21st century, for goodness sake. This is an era of digital world. This is an era where information is so very easily available. to pinch all that criminal and heavy-weighted criminal allegation on such a person, heading such an institution that everything the trade union does is so open. I mean, an organization that has a membership of close to 7 million people, everything they do is so open, the office is so open, the activities are so open. Whatever it is you want to know, you can just come out in the open in a more civilized manner to get the information. And then you put together this kind of fabrication, this kind of very weighty fabrication. Who is going to take this country seriously? We have become a laughing stock. People are wondering, what kind of leadership do we have? What kind of people do we have? Are we in a jungle? Are we in some kind of animal kingdom? Are we not civilized people? For goodness sake, in a country of over 220 million people that are highly educated, very resourceful, you come on, we have people coming out with this kind of allegation as if we are in some kind of no. I honestly, it's so very pathetic, and I just cry for this country. I weep for this country, honestly. It just shows us that the future politically, if we continue at this trend, is very, very big. And the earlier, the people of this country take ownership, real ownership of this country, because we have very brilliant and very serious-minded people. We need the very serious-minded citizens to take leadership of this country and take it back from this animalistic style of leadership.
All right, Dr. Hauwa.
Insensitive style of leadership. It's not just right, it's not fair. Those allegations are too heavy. Those are the allegations there is no evidence backing up those allegations. There is no reason, there is nothing, to link up, any reason for such an allegation. Treason, financing treason. Joe Ajaero is a worker, for goodness sake. Until recently, up till today, he earns salary. He's a worker that earns salary. From public service to leadership of the trade union. Have they checked his account? How much does he have in his account? Have they checked his bank transactions? In fact, from the day he was born till today, have they checked how much the kinds of resources he has and his assets? Where is treason financing coming from? Do you know what it means to finance treason? Do they know what treason, the weightiness of treason, what it takes to organize it, what it takes to fund it? Are we joking? Are we talking about going to push some? Is it so? I don't,
Let me leave you for a moment, Dr. Mustapha. Let me bring in Mr. Emmanuel Onwubiko, into the conversation. Is actually the National Coordinator of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA. Now, Mr. Onwubiko, thank you for your time. All right. Now, my first question to you, sir, is what do you make of the arrest of the NLC president and, of course, the charges that have been leveled against him?
I think the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually veering off the democratic path and is trying so hard to establish totalitarianism, tyranny, and dictatorship, which is completely unconstitutional. The arrest of Ajaero today is just a continuation of the series of targeted attacks against human rights activists, media practitioners, and trade union activists. When a president who seems to be absolutely incompetent, who seems not to be getting most of the things correctly, particularly in the economic economic perspective, the country is in a very terrible shape economically. The majority of Nigerians have been pushed deeper into poverty, mass poverty, hunger, starvation. unemployment. So what the government now wants to do is to create a perfect alibi, kind of to distract the attention of the people, the focus of the people, instead of people to focus more on demanding good governance. The people will now be talking about some misbehaviors of operatives of the armed security services, the armed goons. So I think it's just a kind of harassment, trying to intimidate the labor union activists, so that they wouldn't maintain their consistency in demanding for better working conditions. Ajaero has not committed any treason. It's unfortunate.
But I'm also going to ask you, because some are saying that he has become political rather than neutral.
What is wrong in becoming political? Is it a crime to become political? You as a journalist, you have the right to join a political party if you want. But he leads a union. The highest court, the highest court in the land. You guys are getting it wrong. That is why a lot of decent-minded people are staying out of the politics, because they think politics is the dirty game. It's not a dirty game. Politics is a very serious business that very decent-minded people should embrace. There's nothing wrong in the labor any labor activist joining any political party of his choice, provided the person is not playing the role of a politician in his capacity as the leader of the labor union. If he's doing that, he would have been kicked out, because in the labor union movement, there are several persons who are leaders, who are in leadership positions, who are members, and all the members are not all in one political party. So it is wrong to say that Ajaero is becoming too political. Even if he's doing that, I don't consider he's doing that, but there's nothing wrong about anybody deciding to opt for any political ideology. What is political about saying that you have to pay appropriate wages? You have to pay the right kind of wages to workers. When the first thing the government did when it came into office was to raise the pump price of petroleum products, that automatically exacerbated the cost of living crisis in Nigeria. So what is wrong in the workers demanding for their fair wages? The Constitution allows the workers to demand for increased wages if inflationary trends become uncontrollable the way it has become in Nigeria. What I was trying to argue the other time is that the reason why the government is trying to adopt the Abacha era kind of tactics is because the government does not have anything to give to the people of Nigeria. They don't have the answer to the majority of the problems that we have in Nigeria, the economic problems that we have in Nigeria. All they know about is to go all over the world borrowing, committing Nigeria into heavy indebtedness that generations upon generations will not be able to offset. So the arrest of Ajaero is totally unconstitutional. It's absolutely reprehensible, despicable, and it is the height of governmental rascality. There's no thing like treason that the young man has committed. Everybody, whatever the labor movement does, is in the public domain. If they want to go on strike, they come to the public through the media to announce it. So what are you going to say about the dozens of journalists that have been abducted, that have been arrested, that have been detained arbitrarily by this government? Are they also politicians? So we have to speak out in defense of democracy in this country. And if we think that the problem lies entirely with the labor union movement, well, you just say, okay, that's the problem. That's their own problem. When they finish with the labor union, they are going to come to the broadcast media, they're going to come to the print media. Look, let me tell you, the way the government is going, they don't even mind invading the nation newspapers that belong to the president. It's quite unfortunate.
All right, Mr. Onwubiko, we really do need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up from where we stopped. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are discussing the arrest of the NLC President Ajaero, which happened today. I still have my guest with me, the National Coordinator, that's a Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, in person of Emmanuel Onwubiko, who is joining virtually, and also Dr Hauwa Mustapha, a member of the Coordinating Secretariat, Labour and Civil Society Front, LCS Front. That's, of course, who is also joining virtually. Gentlemen and lady, thank you for your time. Now, because we're pressed for time, I would want to go to you, Dr. Mustapha. Let's talk about the government policies, this current administration, the fact that it still keeps telling Nigerians to be patient, that these policies will yield fruits, versus the current realities of Nigerians, the everyday Nigerian. My question is, where do you think we're headed?
Okay, thank you very much. But just quickly, I just want to add to the fact, the earlier discussion on Ajaero being political. Indeed, if there's anybody in the current day Nigeria today that is not political, then that person is not interested in how he or she sleeps, in how he or she wakes up, in how he or she survives the day. Politics is about being interested in survival, how you eat, how your resources are being exploited, and how your resources are being distributed. Simple. So the workers have the right to be political. If they are not political, we'll ask questions. If Ajaero is not political, we should ask questions. It is completely legitimate and right and correct and timely for him to be political. Every Nigerian should. Now back to your question on the situation we are in today. Look, this government, I think, we consistently is just following the pattern of other regimes and governments in the last 20, 30 years of Nigeria's democracy. That the government consistently is clueless. The government consistently does not understand what governance is about. The government consistently cannot even relate with the situation of the ordinary person on the street, does not even know what the people need. The government consistently is disconnected. If you see so for today there is hunger. They don't even understand that there is hunger. When people are shouting no to hunger, they feel that it's probably you are talking about not having breakfast or lunch for one day, and so you are distribute one mudu of rice in the name of palliative. There are two rolls of spaghetti, and they think that is what it is about. When people say, look, we are tired of unemployment, they probably think that you need wheelbarrow to go to the market, or you need some 10,000 naira to buy a recharge card and be selling. They have no idea of what economy is. They have no idea of what governance is. They have no idea of what the people are feeling and what the people need. And that is why I fear for this country, that if we continue a government that does not know that it is irresponsible and completely insensitive, irrational for you to just wake up without a plan and make a very strong announcement that you know in the past always has a ripple effect on our social economy, and carelessly make a statement without a plan. And while the people are still groaning under the pains of that statement, you still go ahead and continue as business as usual. This government is not a government of the people. We are not in a democracy, so to say. We are just simply in a civilian dictatorship. And that is not what we want. So for me, going forward, Nigerians must be political. Nigerians must come out and ask questions. Nigerians, it is within our rights that you cannot, this country belongs to all of us.
All right, Dr. Mustapha.
Waste or misuse our resources and tell us that we have no right to ask questions. And I think that what is going to happen, look, beyond all these things that are happening, like the other person said, you know, the other guest said, what is going to happen is going to be much worse than what has happened in the past. The trade unions, Ajaero is completely harmless. They had better know that. The real terror is lurking somewhere. And it is better if the intelligence, if our security agents really understand their job then they will know how to help the presidency or whoever is in government to make life better.
Dr. Mustapha, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're pressed for time.
Security is even fueled by itself.
We need to go. Now, let me just take your final thoughts on this. Mr. Onwubiko, as HURIWA, as a body, what is your message to the government as regards the arrest of Ajaero? 30 seconds.
They should free the man. He has not committed an offense. The overzealous security operatives, when they were busy arresting Ajaero, you know very well that terrorists invaded the hospital in Kaduna and abducted nurses and patients. It's a shame that you have security forces, the armed forces of Nigeria, they are unable to defeat ragtag terrorists, bandits all over the place, kidnappers. Nigerians have been kidnapped and killed, and billions and billions of naira in the area of, in terms of, ransom are being collected by bandits, and yet you have security forces who are more focused on pleasing Mr. President. The IGP the other day was busy reading out all kinds of allegations against the protesters only because he wanted an extension in his tenure. The IGP has clocked the statutory age that he should retire from the police, but he doesn't want to go because the government, with the collaboration of the National Assembly that is so weak and so incapacitated, they amended the Police Act of 2020 and retroactively allowed the IGP to continue in office. This is unconstitutional. It is unfortunate that that matter, even if it gets to court, because the court is already captured, there is still capture, executive is in total capture of all the three arms of government. It may not even see the light of the day because the judges are so afraid of the president. So it's quite unfortunate.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your contribution on the program. Mr. Emmanuel Onwubiko is the National Coordinator of Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, and also Dr. Hauwa Mustapha, member of the Coordinating Secretariat, Labour and Civil Society Front. Both join in virtually. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right.